Hello, welcome to Smosh Mouth. I'm Shayne.
And I'm Amanda, or as some people call me, Mommy. Mother, Mamacita, or Daddy. It depends on the day.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For sure. Totally.
So we have a
bassinet on the ground.
Oh, that's what that's called.
I
thought that was an instrument.
Why do I laugh at your dumb jokes?
Oh!
Okay, I guess it's a bassinet on the ground. I'm not really sure. It looks like a fun couch that you have at like a hotel.
It's like a little tiny area.
It's a
little tiny circle area for a baby.
It's a cage with an opening.
So this would be for a baby that's not able to move that much.
Right.
The baby's not can barely.
A crawling baby
can get through anything.
Anything. And you don't even realize. And the funniest thing ever is when they have something in their hand they know they're not supposed to have, and they go.
And they're stoked.
Like, we have like a little remote to turn on one of our lamps, and Cole gets it and goes, and he holds it up, and then I go, okay, come here, give that to me. And he goes, and he crawls off so fast. It's the funniest thing you've ever seen.
And it's just because he's like,
they just know.
I know I'm not supposed to have this.
They know they're not supposed to have it, and they just go ham.
You got to reverse psychology it, where you got to try to give him all the things he's not supposed to have.
So right.
And then be like, baby toys, you're like
a glass bottle.
It's probably a bad thing to teach early on.
Here's a glass bottle, kid.
Yeah, here you go, some cigarettes.
Yeah, smoke them up.
I mean, you think about it, how insane it must be to be a baby, right? Like, because you know what? I try to, the closest you can get as an adult is anytime you just have a brand new experience.
You're wasted.
Yeah, getting absolutely plastered. No, but like new experiences.
Yes.
But it takes so much to have a brand new experience.
Like on a roller coaster, you're like, ah!
Yeah, but that's them all the time.
All the time.
Because that's like, this is my first time touching whatever this is.
Yes.
This is my first time seeing that thing.
Yes, and they really learn the word no pretty fast.
Really?
But they like F with you. You'll be like, and they're like, you're like, no, and they're like,
oh.
And they do this like little smile. Like Cole's favorite thing, truly, you don't need to buy toys. I mean, toys are fun and they're good for like learning. And there's some toys that's like, if I click this, it'll turn on. But really, get them like a big ass map of California, a map of the world.
Start teaching them geography.
No, because it's very hard to tear.
Oh.
And so they're like, and when they do tear it, they're like,
they're stoked. They're like, I have grown stronger.
They're literally psyched.
I should preface this. We are.
Oh yeah, why are we talking about kids?
Yeah, so we have a bassinet here, and we're talking about your kid because it's Parent Week.
My
at
kid.
Smosh.
It's Parents Week at Smosh, which is something we're doing. It's really exciting. We have all the channels are doing something special involving parents.
Yeah, a lot of people are bringing their parents on.
Spoiler, I might be talking to some parents.
Ooh.
Maybe Spencer's mom.
Whoa.
Maybe Arash's mom.
Okay.
And then I won't reveal the third person.
There are a few parents that are coming on. You named a couple.
Yeah.
Of like a few that are coming on.
A few that are coming on.
I met all these parents this past week, and I was like, oh my God. The personalities.
Did they know who you were?
They knew who I was.
Yeah.
All of them did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like, oh my God.
Truly, kind of.
You're Shayne Topp.
Yeah. I will say Spencer's mom, I won't say this. Actually, yeah, I will. She was saying like, oh, Spencer's always complimenting how you dress. He's like, oh, Shayne dresses so cool.
Aww.
And I was like, damn, that's really cool.
Why weren't you
like Spencer's the best?
Say that.
I don't know if Spencer's like, oh, don't put me on blast like that. Whatever.
No, Spencer doesn't care.
But
trust me, I interviewed him and his mom. He does not care.
I'm like, everyone's personalities make so much sense when you meet like Spencer's mom is hilarious.
She's so I really related to Spencer's mom a lot. She just reminded me a lot of my mom. She was just so comfortable telling stories. And my favorite thing that I learned was like, I really asked this question like, oh, is your son or daughter your best friend? And it really was like a kind of a controversial topic because some moms were like, of course.
And some moms are like, no, I've got my best friend, Janet.
Spencer's mom's like, no. She's like, I love my son, but no.
I have friends.
She's like, that's weird. And then after she was like, is it weird that I said that's weird? And I was like, no, it's not a problem either way, but it's so funny to see the difference between moms.
Yeah.
And like I relate to that because I think my mom would be the same. And then I feel like me as a mom would be like that.
Interesting.
Like I don't think my son's going to be my best friend.
Yeah, that's not something, I don't think my mom would.
Because what if I'm like, I have a bump in a place. Like, what am I going to do?
I think my mom would say like, no, she has her best friend. Like, that's like, someone she hangs out with, that's her best friend.
Yes.
Her sons are like her
I'm excited
son.
to like
their friend. We're obviously like, I understand saying yes to that though too. That's just like a how you view it type of situation.
Yeah, it's like I wanna like, you know, travel with my son. I wanna do these really cool experiences. I wanna like read together. I wanna do all these really fun things, but I also wanna like be his parent.
Yeah.
For me. And like I said, there's like like I talked to some moms and they're like, oh, we're best friends. And it was like a really cool relationship that they had, because I think it has to do with like upbringing and all that stuff. But it was so funny how that one question was kind of like, oh, we are split on this.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to interview some moms, because it made me think about like, oh, what do I want to be like as a mom? And they have like years of experience.
Totally.
It's wild.
No, I mean, it's the weirdest thing that like, because, you know, I don't really comprehend it. I was talking to someone who is a parent, but he's like in his 60s. This was a few years ago.
Oh.
And he was talking about how it's like so weird that he's like, yeah, like the majority of your relationship with your kid is when they're an adult. And I was like, it's such a weird, like,
Someone
I'm like, yeah,
said
like,
this to me.
Like you have a kid and it's like, but they're only a kid for so long. And then they're, you know, after 18, like, you know, the hope is that you spend so much of your life like you're adults, just they're like, you know each other like that, and that's so weird. Like,
someone literally just said this to me, and it really does put things into perspective when I'm so in it. You know, my son is a baby, and it really puts into perspective like what is important right now.
Yeah.
And for me right now is like any chance I can get, I want to spend time with my son, but not only just like spend time with him, but be really, really present. Like I was thinking, you and Selina asked me a question, and I know we're going to do this later, but it was just like, what's something that really surprised me as being a mom? I forget the exact question, but it was like, I simply do not get bored watching him play. Like, and I thought that we've all babysat some kids randomly when we were teenagers, or maybe that was just me. My mom was like, you're babysitting this family. I'm like, what? I'm 10. Oh, truly.
You're babysitting these 12-year-olds. I'm 10 years old.
You're sitting babysitting these kids and you're like, I am bored out of my mind.
Totally.
But with my son, I could watch him play I'm like, it's just so freaking cute.
Yeah.
And you never think that you would do that. It's really, really cool. But yeah, I someone said that it's like they're going to be adults for so long.
I know.
And every phase of their, kid life, and I mean phase by like month or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting better. It's really cool.
Really?
Yeah.
It's been so cool to see like you and H are such an incredible team, and like it reminds me of my brothers, because so when my brothers had kids, I remember always being like, I feel like so many people in our parents' generations talked about kids where it's like, oh, wait till you have kids.
What a nightmare.
Then everything's over.
Yeah, your life is
awful.
done. Your body's done. Shut the doors on your sex life.
Yeah, it's
You're
just like
okay.
you're never gonna have fun ever again.
Yeah, literally.
But my brothers, they had kids, and like it's just like, oh, life didn't stop, and they kind of, in my conversation with them, they're like, oh yeah, it's fine. But you know what, at least the through line with them and then you is like, you and your partner are such incredible teams, and you guys have each other's backs.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people have that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really is hard,
Yes.
right? Like, is like so many husbands and stuff are just not like helping out. And like, I know it's the case in different ways,
really
but like,
tricky.
I think there's, in reading Reddit stories at least, which is such a ridiculous thing to bring up, but like so many situations where it's parents, it's like, oh my God, so many people just are not a good team. They're not respecting each other, and then you get into that.
Yes, it is so that it is like really the team, and I think unfortunately it's like circumstances, it's timing. But I did a postpartum like therapy group, which if you're a new mom, I highly recommend it. It was really, really amazing. It was like a bunch of other moms like in it. I'm talking like 2 weeks in it, 3 weeks in it. And the biggest things I learned is that everyone is experiencing everyone's experiencing something different, but like sometimes it's like, okay, the partner, the husband or the father, whatever, is like doesn't know how to handle, or they're not around, or they're struggling. But then it's also like sometimes the mom gets really scared and worried, and they have control, and they kind of sometimes like gatekeep a little bit of like, okay, well, I'll just do it. So sometimes the baby never makes the bond, and then they get resentful because the husband's like, she doesn't even know, the baby doesn't even know me. And like, it's so layered and complicated.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so easy to be like, well, he wasn't around or she wasn't around. But it's like, it is so layered and complicated. But I realize the biggest thing is like, people just don't want to feel alone. They don't want to feel like lost and confused. And you need so much support when you're raising one baby.
Yeah.
Imagine having twins or triplets. Like,
oh my
you
God.
need so much support. And I really got really lucky. Like, I have a very, very supportive partner, and we're just on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
It just like the timing worked out, and I feel really, really grateful for it, because I can't even imagine. I think it would be so hard. But like single moms out there, my God, they deserve everything. They deserve the world, because they're doing all of that while also making a good life for their kids, while also doing it all. And it's like,
well, in this day and age, like everybody has to continue working. Like you can't like raise it. Like you get like,
oh my God.
Jobs will be like, yeah, we'll give you 2 weeks off. It's like,
when I was pregnant, people in the UK were like, so do you get like 9 months? So do you get like
so 10... do you get 5 years off like we do? No.
Do you get like 10 months to like off? Do you get like time to like, f off?
It's like, I don't know if you have read up about how things are going in this country.
I'm back in diapers, honey. I'm wearing diapers and I'm going back to work. No, I'm just kidding. This episode of Smosh Mouth is sponsored by ZocDoc. I've scheduled all my appointments for the rest of the year.
Sorry, you did what?
That's right. I booked all my appointments. Dentist, primary care, eye care, booked and feeling so accomplished.
Whoa. Well, now that that's done, you can focus on planning all the things you love to do.
Exactly. And all thanks to ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a free app and website that helps you find and book high-quality in-network doctors so you can find someone you love. ZocDoc gives me all the options I need. I can look for last-minute appointments, or I can book in advance. I can find in-person appointments or remote video appointments. I can find who's in my network across all 50 states.
Miss Productive over here.
Shayne, don't be jealous. You can use ZocDoc too.
Oh, don't you worry. I love ZocDoc. I was notorious for pushing off doctor's appointments for so long until I finally downloaded the app, and then I had all my doctor's appointments set up.
Wow, Mr. Productive. Anyways, it is so great. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Smoshmouth to find and instantly book a doctor you love today. That's ZocDoc.com/Smoshmouth. ZocDoc.com/Smoshmouth. Thanks, ZocDoc, for sponsoring this message.
Back to the show.
I really wish I didn't look up and look at you.
I know. It's a lot. It's a lot to behold. No, it's insane. Like,
it's what
it
some
takes
people,
a full community to
my
raise
mom,
a kid.
I talked to my mom, and she went back to work really early because they needed her. And it's like, you really, really need time. You need time for your mind. And I really wish people would take like mental health more seriously and would educate more new moms about like, this is a lot. Totally. And what you're feeling is normal, and you are not alone. And I wish there was like one handbook of resources for like, you're a new mom, welcome. And it like opens, and it's everything.
Just like truly a guide.
Just pictures.
A tutorial guide.
Yeah, because it's just like, you really have to seek out information.
Yeah.
But
it's not easy, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard. I mean, dumb comparisons, like it's hard to find like valid information on anything nowadays. Like
I know.
It's so weird how with the internet, there was a time when it truly was like you could Google things, you could find the resources that you need, and now we're in an era where it's so much harder to find the right information. Yeah,
and you really realize it when your mom tries to give you advice about being a mom. And my mom gives me great advice, but sometimes she's like, you don't need a bassinet. Just get, a dresser, and you open one of the drawers.
Just
and
dig a hole.
And
make sure it's a wide hole and throw them in the middle, and they won't be able to get out.
Truly, she's like, she did tummy time like day 4 4 of life. She was like, and I'm grateful that she did, because he was like up and about. And some moms are like, how did he do that? I'm like, my mom flipped him on his, flipped him upside down,
God.
So it's like,
and it's so much, like, you get so much advice, I'm assuming, but it's all anecdotal. It's just like, there's no like research. It's not like, oh, well, actually this research. It's just like, well, what we did is this.
And every baby is different.
Different, yeah.
And I will say my mom's advice is very funny. And then I'm also married to someone who's not from this country. His mom's advice was hilarious. She had advice about vodka. It's just,
Give the baby vodka.
There are so many different.
I know.
There are so many different things, but I will say, and I don't know if most moms feel this, but there's a little voice inside you. Your intuition is very strong. It's like, no, or it's like, yep, or it's like, this is what we should do. And you kind of just do that.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. It's like, you can read 1,000 books.
Yeah.
But really when it happens, it's your own baby.
It's a constant 24/7
yes.
thing. I do think I feel that whenever people criticize moms for just any sort of slip up or anything, I'm like,
please.
It's 24/7 for years.
And also they're figuring it out.
And you're exhausted.
You can read 1,000,000 books, but it's like your baby's doing something different. They have a rash that you're like, where did you get that, buddy?
Whole brand new person, yeah.
But
no, it's true, because every person is completely unique, so you're faced with completely unique problems.
Yes.
And they're similar, but it's going to be its own version of it. That's so infinitely complicated.
It's so wild, but our moms are boomers, so they have their own.
How do you feel about people who, because I see it get brought up on the internet, people who are who use kind of being a parent whenever anyone complains about anything in the world, and they go, well, try having kids.
I really don't like it. And I think on the early days, I was like, I wish I had time. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And when people used to say that and be like, I didn't tell you to do this. I didn't tell you to have kids and not have time. Mm-hmm. So I had to catch myself, because you're so tired and someone's like, oh my God, it was so fun. We went out for drinks and wine. And you're like, oh, I wish I could do it. And it sucks. It's like, I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy hearing it. I don't enjoy when my little voice does that too, because it's just like, this is your decision. Commit 100% to it. But I think what I hear when people do that is oh, they need a break.
Totally.
Oh, they're
exhausted.
They're exhausted. They
that.
need some time off, and they're not getting enough support. There's not enough balance.
Right. Yeah, and I think my view on it as someone who doesn't have kids is when people say oh, try having kids, I'm like, I know, I'd be more tired.
Try having kids.
But I'm also in the sense that I understand that having a kid is probably the most exhausting thing on the planet, but also the most rewarding thing. So it is exhaustion for something. There's nothing really to compare it to, but it's running a marathon is exhausting, but you're doing it because you wanted to, and it's rewarding in that way.
It's it's like you're working.
Mm-hmm.
You are home and you are doing labor. Yeah. In the best way possible, but you are working so hard. You're doing labor. You're feeding them. You're cleaning up after. You're taking a bath. You're changing their diaper. You're putting them in their night thing. You're putting them in the sleep sack. You're getting them calm, and that's just 1 hour of the day.
Right.
So it's and then it's just the most amazing aha moments of your life. You grow a lifetime by being a new parent. It's really, really unbelievable. But if you're not present, you're gonna miss it.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss the phase that you're in, and then you're gonna grieve the old phase, and while you're grieving the old phase, the new phase is starting.
Right.
It's the wildest experience of my life.
Totally.
It's really, really cool. But yeah, I think if I listened to everyone in the world, I would.
You kind of have to take your own path.
You really do, because there are a lot of people out there that's oh, good luck.
Yeah.
Ugh. But my mom loved having kids. My mom had a very, very wonderful, positive outlook on it. And she traveled a lot with us, and
Yeah.
We were very lucky. So like I came from that. So I got to have that.
Totally.
And my sisters both love being parents.
Yeah.
So I got to have that. So I don't know what it would be like if I had the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, I feel for people. I know there's obviously countless situations where people have children unplanned, and like
Yes.
that's a tough situation.
Yeah.
And it's what makes me feel so bad that I feel like societally it is so hard because it is so expensive, and nothing is set up in our society to make it easier. It almost feels like it's funny because like you read all these headlines where it's like, oh, they like the government wants people to have more kids, whatever. But it's like, well, everything in our day-to-day lives tells us not to.
It's wild.
Because it's so hard and so expensive, and people are just trying to stay afloat in general.
It's so
and
weird.
so like people want to have kids. They of course do, but it's like, my God, it's you have to set aside everything for it. And I feel like every time I read up on like how expensive anything for babies and children are, I'm like, oh my God, it's that expensive. Like,
You know
holy
what's
crap.
weird is like it is, and then it like
Has anything been surprisingly not expensive? Or what has been surprisingly expensive, and what has been surprisingly not as expensive as you thought it would be?
surprisingly expensive is formula. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, breastfeeding and pumping, that's a whole other journey because you have to, unless insurance gives it to you for a little bit, and sometimes that happens, you have to buy this contraption that is so expensive. But there's like this cool like mom thing where people really give away a lot of mom stuff, and it is so epic. But like
cool.
formula, like, oh my God, blew me out of the water.
Why
I
is
was
it so expensive? Do we know? I mean, I guess, yeah.
there's like
I'm
a
asking
lot of
questions I don't
vitamins
have
and minerals, and they want to make it.
I don't know. I guess it's like, I think it's kind of bullshit that that's even something we pay for. Like, I'm just like, hey, that's for babies. Maybe we should all chip in, and that should be for free.
Trust me. I'm like, how are we all born? We were all babies, and like, we have to pay for everything.
Yeah.
So that was really expensive. And then also like, I got really lucky that my husband loves making Cole's food. Like, he loves making it. It's like a fun process for him. He loves like storing it and making it, and he makes our food and stuff. But we went on like a trip, and I was like, oh, let me go and get the pouches. It's, whatever, easy. And I was like, what? I thought the pouches were expensive. To me, they were like
pouches?
The food pouches.
Oh.
I thought they were really expensive. It's just like, I don't know. All of it's expensive, but it's like
that stuff pisses me off.
Yeah.
I'm just like, baby food is expensive. I'm like,
childcare.
I'm just like, come on, man.
Nannies,
like,
daycare, but you just do it. You know when you have.
Well, you have no choice.
You just do it.
I'm saying like, I'm criticizing.
Yeah.
The thing at large.
Yeah.
Just that I'm like, this is only for babies. Maybe we should do everything we can to make this not as expensive.
I know.
Because this is only for babies.
And now I'm thinking like, I've got a big baby. Like, he's a big boy. And I'm thinking
6'2".
He's 6'2" already. It's crazy.
When you're at the park, people are like, "Hey, does he want to play pickup basketball?" Like, he's
like, "No, I'm with my mom.
I can't right now. I'm with my mom."
I always get surprised because if I have friends come over and hold him, they're like, how's your back? I'm like, it hurts, man.
I'm struggling.
It really hurts. Like, I don't know what to say, but he is a big boy. So I'm just thinking about when he gets older, how much food am I going to have in the house?
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Yeah.
Things surprise me. And then things are actually weirdly, this is going to sound weird, but things are actually easier than I thought they would be in a weird way.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought everything was going to like be really, really, really hard. Mm-hmm. And things are really hard. But some things are like, oh, okay, that worked.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you are someone, though, I mean, from everything I've seen and talking to you, you are so good at like cherishing the good things. And I think that helps you. And I think a lot of the like older generations that we experienced growing up really like they got addicted to negativity in ways. And I know I'm trying not to say that about parents when I don't have a kid, but like we just grew up. We grew up around it so much.
Definitely.
And I think it like for so many millennials, I think a lot of us were like having kids was a scary thing.
Definitely.
It was like we were told we were convinced in so many parts of the world of like, oh, this is gonna be the worst thing.
Yeah, you're coming home late and your mom's like, I have been up.
I didn't experience this.
You haven't? My mom would be like this. She'd be like asleep on the couch, like, and then I'd come home. She wasn't asleep. She was like, I've been awake all night long. Like my mom was just like, how dare you? And I'm like, I don't want that. Like, she just felt like her heart was being torn out all the time.
Because you were not...
Whatever. I was home late for like 2 seconds.
What the Mom?
Truly, I was home late. One time the cops drove me home. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, they gave you a ride.
They gave me a ride home. He was my dare officer. It's fine.
He gave me drugs.
Not even kidding. But like, I get it. My mom had 4 girls. That's hard. A lot of like mind games and stuff. But like,
it's yeah.
I just was like, oh, that's so hard. But then I realized, oh, this is my own life. This is my own experience. And I got really lucky. Like, my husband is just like down for an adventure. He's just like, yup. Hard work. He's like, I'm in.
Yeah.
He's like, hard things. He's like, I'm in. And he's the most patient man ever, because I'm like,
yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's just like, we enjoy our son so much. We love our time with him so much. It's just like, it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
So like the little things, when I get kind of stressed about it, like, well, what is he going to eat next? And he's like, figure it out. I got it.
But and I think it's probably so much easier, like I said earlier, of like, you guys can rely on each other. Yes. And I think that's also like, it really seems to be the case with like children, of like having people you can rely on.
It's
like,
really important. I'm just grateful I'm not doing it alone. Like, it's really important. I feel very lucky, and I feel super fortunate. And like, I also didn't go into being a parent of like, it is a 100% guarantee. I think I went in being like, I hope that I can.
Yeah.
I hope that my body can. I hope that I'm fortunate enough. Like, I just feel like we kind of need to consider that it's not a guarantee for everybody. It is a privilege.
Yeah.
It's a privilege to be able to have a child and afford a child and have a partner who can help you. And I think I just like, I got really like on that before I had kids. I was like, I hope that I can. Yeah. And it really bothered me when people would be like, when are you? And I know that bothers a lot of people.
Yeah. I really do. I think it is really great that so many people our age are being like, oh, do I want a kid? Yeah. Like, it's just like, hey, if you have the privilege of having that moment of being like, do I really want that? Yes. It's like, unless you really want it, like, you don't have to.
I'm in full support of people who are like, I don't want a kid. I'm like,
it's like rocks. Yeah.
You do not need to have a kid. It is a privilege and an honor. And I think back in the day, like our parents, it was part of the list of like things they had or needed to do. Yeah. And I think a lot of them wanted to do it. But it's very cool to be a mom and then see my mom be a grandma. Yeah. Like, it's very generationally, if you want it and you decide to do it, you enter another level of like life, of like human. It is so overwhelmingly emotional to watch your mom with your baby. It is like, I bet. Oh, and it's also so funny. Yeah. Because you watch her do like the weird. My mom has had this like song that she does to every grandchild. She'll be like, track to Boston, trot to Lynn, watch out. And she says the name, and then she's, don't fall in. And then she like flips them upside down.
Is that only her song?
I think it's like a song.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's like a Boston thing?
We'll have to look it up. But like all these little songs that you like kind of, you like
your childhood comes back. Like she did that when you were a baby.
Yeah, she's like cook. Like, it's really amazing to see, and you're also just like, you feel like you're like outside of a snow globe, like looking in. It's so weird.
Wow,
it's really
trippy.
Cool. It's really really cool.
Yeah, it sounds like such an insane experience, man.
And your mom's a grandma.
Yes, yeah, I have nieces and nephews, and I mean,
is your mom like different as a grandma, or is she the same?
She's definitely got a different vibe to her with the grandkids. I mean, the grandkids are all like, they're all getting into like middle school now. It's crazy to think it happens so fast. It all happens so fast. But I mean, she's like stoked. She like loves just like spending any time with them.
But it's kind of funny to see your maybe it's just my mom. She like tries to lay down the law sometimes with them, and I'm like, good luck, buddy.
Yeah,
like she's gonna get you.
But I'll tell you what, it's also fascinating, like with my nieces and nephews, like how different they are. And they grew up in like the same situation. Like they all like grew up together. But I'm just like, wow, like same parenting style, same everything, but just you are a whole person. Like, and I do believe in both nature and nurture. I think both of them play huge parts. But it's just like fascinating that I'm just like, who would have predicted? Like, all right. But I love it. Like, I love seeing like unique personalities come out of people and stuff. And I'm really excited for when they're all adults, you know? Like, I think that is so fun and exciting.
That's going to be really fun and cool.
Oh, yeah. Just like, oh, cool. You get to hang out with these people.
Are you going to be like the uncle that's like, you can call me at any time?
I mean, I think I'm that. Like,
you know
I think
I
can be that. Yeah, like, absolutely.
I had an aunt that was like, if you don't want to tell your mom where you are, you want to call me. And I never did, because I was like, you don't even live in this state.
Yeah, like I don't know what I could really offer them, but and luckily my brothers and my sister-in-laws are so cool that I met them. Yeah, you have met them.
I met them in Denver. It was very cool.
But they're very chill. But I really just like, I'm very grateful. Like I'm very lucky that my family's dynamic is all very chill, and I think it's going to be that way forever. I don't foresee drama really occurring, but very lucky.
This episode of Smosh Mouth is sponsored by Rocket Money. You know, Shayne, I feel like I'm pretty good with my finances, but I did have a time where I was like a little bit nervous.
Oh, really? When was that?
When I was pregnant. I started thinking about raising a child and the costs associated with it, and you just want to do your best, you know? So I was like, like a tiny bit stressed. But then I remembered I have the greatest tool of all time.
Your brain?
Yeah, kinda, yes. And Rocket Money. Across all my accounts, Rocket Money is able to categorize my transactions automatically. This was so helpful to see where I was spending, like baby essentials, groceries, car maintenance, and more. With all this information, I was able to see which areas I was spending less on, which meant I could save and create budgets for my family.
I like that you can set financial goals on Rocket Money.
Yes, it is the best. Users who create a financial goal with Rocket Money save over $70 on average within the first 30 days.
You know, I am such a disorganized person that when it comes to Rocket Money, it helps me keep everything in one place. I'm able to keep track of all of it. I have saved so much money using Rocket Money.
Yes, it's seriously so good. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/smoshmouth. That's rocketmoney.com/smoshmouth, rocketmoney.com/smoshmouth.
Back to the show.
Let's do it, buddy.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. So we got confirmation that is a real song, Trot Trot to Boston.
I think it is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She's been singing it.
By the Black Eyed Peas.
Her and Fergie are really tight.
You know what is really fun with like kids is eventually being able to like play video games with them or just like shared interests or whatever. It's
oh my
so
God.
fun.
H and I are like,
it's so cool.
We're not even debating about it, but H is like, he's going to play video games. I'm like,
no, there is simply nothing you can do to stop that in this day and age.
Which is so hard. Like what?
He's going, that is literally the world now. It will be impossible.
Do you know what? Fine. But you know what I really want? I want to read like really epic. I want to start a series with my son.
Yeah.
And he can start to read like really epic series with him.
Oh, yeah.
Like every night we do like a few pages.
Oh, absolutely. No, that's the best thing to do.
That's my dream. Like, how old can he be until we start like reading Lord of the Rings or something?
Lord of the Rings might take a bit because it might be Lord of the Rings might just bore him. When he's a kid. But there's tons, dude. Like, he'll hit a certain age where, like,
yes.
I don't think he has to be that, like, there's plenty of really cool, like, children's books, but when he gets to, like, I don't know, like, somewhere between 7 and 9 years old, you could probably be reading, like, Percy Jackson and cool stuff like that.
I'm just so excited to, like, introduce him to that nerd culture that I'm into, like, sci-fi, dragons, witches.
Totally. I'd be shocked if he's not into that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, unless he's like rebellious and because you guys are nerds, he's like, no.
No, I think he's into it because I always do a lot of weird voices and he likes it. My new voice is like, what is it? That's a spicy meatball.
Oh, and he loves that.
He loves it.
Yeah, so you because you do like a bunch of different characters.
I do a bunch of different characters. The interrogation has stopped. He's not into it anymore.
You're not into it.
I'm like, where were you Friday night? He doesn't like it anymore.
Have we talked about that on Smosh Mouth?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so you were interrogating him for a long time.
I don't know what it is, but he likes to be a little spooked.
Yeah, he likes to be scared.
Like he's like, where were you Friday night?
And he's like, oh.
Yeah, he loves to be spooked.
I wasn't anywhere.
So I used to do interrogation, and then I would do like, are you a traitor or are you a faithful? And he loved.
See, I'm laughing at that. Everybody finds that funny.
He loved it so much.
But he likes to be accused.
Yes. And now I go, are you a spicy meatball?
Wow. And he loves that.
He loves it.
Oh my God.
I don't know what it is. It's like, my husband and I call it the new laugh unlocked. We're like, new laugh unlocked. Because he really, he moves on pretty quick. So it's like interrogation only lasted like a week.
You got to keep
Traders lasted a week.
You got to keep coming up with new material.
Yes, all the time.
That's brutal.
All the time. But what will always get him is, I'm going to get you.
Oh.
He flips out.
Does he like run away? He's like.
And then he goes.
He starts crawling.
I'm not even kidding. I go, I'm going to get you. And he goes. And he goes crazy. Sometimes, one time he went so hard, he like kind of hit his head on the floor, and I was like, don't react. Don't react. Don't react. And then he gets up and he goes, and I'm like, and then he goes, okay, well, I guess it's fine. But I love it. I go, I'm going to get you. And then when H does it, he does it like a little too scary.
I'm going to get you!
He literally goes, I'm going to get you. And Cole's like,
he's like, no,
and
not
Cole,
for real.
Like, crawls up me.
Oh.
And I'm like, babe, you're scaring him. And he's like, but I'm going to get him. I want to get him. But he does it too high up. See, levels matter.
Your 6'5" husband,
literally
arms outstretched.
I'm going to get you.
Your husband, H does what you should do to scare off a mountain lion.
No, he actually does. He'll go rah like that, and Cole's like. Sometimes he's down, but I'm like, you have to get on his level, or you scare him too much.
Because you're doing like a sinister.
I'm doing it like here. I'm like. So I do the
He
slow.
likes more of like a goblin.
I go, I'm gonna get
He's doing like Yeti.
Goes, I'm going to get you.
He's doing vampire. He's doing Nosferatu. Like, yeah. Oh.
And Cole's like, ah.
But you said Cole loves scary stuff.
Cole loves scary stuff. And Cole loves like going after H at any time. He'll like climb up his head and like pull his hair.
Oh God.
He gets really into it.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's like if you're this high and Cole's down here.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's like what the
get him on his level, man.
Do you think how young do you think he'll be when you'll show him like a scary movie?
I think about it all the time. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm like, because this is weird, but Disney movies for kids nowadays are scary as hell.
Yeah.
We just had
The
to
old
watch
ones,
Fantasia.
Dude,
Fantasia.
The
devil.
Chernobog? Night on Bald Mountain? That
Dude,
shit rocks.
It was so scary.
I loved that as a kid.
And I was like, this is part of our life.
It is literally hell. He's like taking souls from a village.
He is. I mean, Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh yeah, that one's messed up.
That one is I watched it recently.
That is probably the most messed up one.
But like
Bambi?
That was a one and done. When I was a kid, I was like, never again.
This shit.
It was awful. So sad.
They're
but
all
like
scary.
Ariel, like the Sea Witch.
Oh, Ursula?
Yes, but Ariel. I meant Ariel's story.
I don't know why the Sea Witch felt like it was offensive. I was like, whoa, that's Ursula. Like,
you're like, say her name. She has a name.
She's a person,
Relax.
sort of.
But yeah.
Scary shit.
I mean, we'll definitely show him scary shit. I mean, Verde shows me like his favorite movie from Belarus, and I'm like, that was the scariest thing I've ever seen. So it's like, I definitely want to show him some Disney movies.
Okay.
Scary movies they're good.
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
No.
You need to be a little scared. You can't just have like a la 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 la.
Yeah.
What was your first scary movie? Do you remember? Other than Fantasia, like that's just childhood.
I'm trying to think of like really what was like some of the first scary stuff I watched as a kid. I was very scared. I would get very scared. I'd be like, oh, like, am I going to get scared? Like,
cute.
whatever. Depending on the thing.
Me too.
But I would watch scary movies. I can't recall, like, what was the first one. All I know is I watched that Goosebumps episode where my phone was ringing.
He's like, Goosebumps?
And someone's like, are you scared? It's me, a vampire. I remember watching that Goosebumps episode, The Night of the Living Dummy, and that's what made me scared of dolls for so long, was just that episode of Goosebumps, which isn't scary.
I'm sorry, but dolls are terrifying.
Yeah, but then I would see like a trailer or like a commercial for Chucky. Like it'd be like, tonight at 7, it's like, it's Chucky. Child's Play, and it'd be like Chucky. And I was like, he looks freaky.
Chucky.
I don't like how he looks.
Chucky is terrifying. Are You Afraid of the Dark did a lot of dolls stuff on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
But I think my first like classic horror was Psycho.
Oh,
my dad showed us
I watched Psycho when I was young. Yeah,
and I remember just being like,
scary.
This is weird.
It's yeah, it's
but
scary
like,
though.
That and the original It, I remember watching.
Oh, I never watched that one.
So scary.
Yeah.
So, like gutter
really?
Children. like what?
Good.
So scary.
Yeah.
So yeah, I probably won't show him those, but like,
no,
I definitely want to show him some Disney.
There's also some good. I'm trying to think of like good PG like scary movies that aren't like that don't have like all like too much other stuff.
Princess Bride is, I'm pretty sure, PG.
Oh, Princess Bride's a perfect movie.
It's so scary. Boo.
But there's also there's also the thing of like showing a kid a movie when they're old enough to appreciate it.
But you don't want them to be too old. Like
right. That's like, how do you thread that needle where you show them that movie at just the right. You know what I actually think is the age, the media age.
Ooh,
and we're about to have a guest on here in a second.
Yeah, we are.
Who I think actually is going to be able to speak to this better than either of us.
Yeah, probably.
But I think the age that your favorite things happen, as far as video games, movies, books, all that stuff, is 8 years old. It's like 8 years old. It's like, what's your favorite childhood TV show? It's like whatever you watched when you were 8 years old.
Okay.
And it's like kind of the same. You know where you see it with is Pokemon. You're not going to know what I'm talking about here, but people go, what's your favorite Pokemon?
I know what Pokemon is.
But no, but I mean, like, what's your favorite Pokemon generation? And people go, oh, it's this one. It's like, it's always the one that when you were 8 years old.
What was I?
8 to 12 is when movies, TV shows, and video games slap harder than they've ever slapped.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think I watched Psycho when I was 8. And then I went down the road of like detective...
Yeah.
Grizzly crime. Well, we should bring on our guest so that he
we
can
should bring
respond
on
to
our
this.
guest there, because at Smosh.
All right, come on out.
Here's our baby. We have only you and one other person here.
We only have 2 parents on Smosh.
Yeah, not many.
And it's me and Alex Aguilar.
That's right, Alex. Come on out here.
Come on out here, Alex.
Alex, thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here.
Fans have probably not gotten to see you since some of the TNTLs. Where you came out and you slapped people and all sorts of stuff. It was good stuff.
You slapped Garrett.
R.I.P.
He's alive.
By the way, I should let you guys know, Alex has some of the darkest humor here at Smosh.
It's very, very funny.
He's very funny.
And he's also a dad.
And you are also a massive movie fan. It's like you and Luke, who I feel like have seen just every movie.
We've gone to the movies together.
Whoa.
What is that like? Does the movie shut down?
They're like, everybody else, get out of here.
Get
we have
outta
2
here.
pros.
I think the last movie we watched together was Muppet Treasure Island. In theaters.
That movie's
In theaters?
so good.
I've never seen it.
Okay, so when you were 8, do you think that 8 to 12 is like peak media time?
So you're talking to somebody whose parents literally put them in front of a TV at 2 months old. So I actually...
There's a parenting technique for you.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, my family, like, I guess at 2 months old, they're like, all right, there you go. And then they just like, TV was like my family for a while because of that. And I'm not raising my son like that at all.
No. No, you're not.
Yeah, so I disagree. I think for me it was around 5 or 6 because of how early everything started. For me.
You were a pro earlier on.
Well, clearly.
Yeah, so like a lot of my favorite shows, like cartoons growing up, were like Rocko's Modern Life or Hey Arnold.
Modern Life. Rocko's Modern Life.
The B-52s.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, it just from an early age, I was just dropped in front of a TV and then like kind of left to my own device to watch kid stuff. And then when my dad was around and he would watch movies, I grew up on a lot of, I hate to say it like this, but Mel Gibson,
hey,
That was the era.
what was the movie? The
Braveheart?
Not that one. It's the cop one. Oh my God. It's
I don't know.
Lethal Weapon. Yeah, I grew up watching a lot of Lethal Weapon and Die Hard.
Die Hard,
yeah.
of course.
So
yeah.
I grew up with that because of my dad, and then my
Yes.
mom left my dad. So
Okay.
So you stopped Mel
There's
Gibson
that.
after that happened?
no,
That's why you're like, I'm done with Mel Gibson.
He left Mel Gibson as well. You didn't watch What Women Want with Helen Hunt? God, what a classic.
Watch that movie.
What a classic.
I remember my mom was watching that.
Of course.
One time. No, such a classic thing would be my mom would be watching a movie like that or What Lies Beneath.
Best movie ever.
Some movie
we had
along
that on
those lines.
VHS.
And I'd come out and she'd be like, this movie's amazing. So Mel Gibson can hear women's thoughts. And I'd be like, yeah, I picked that
Yeah.
up from this one scene I'm watching.
And he's hearing Helen Hunt's thoughts, and then he tries to get with her. He actually paints his nails at one point to try to get into the woman's mind. I'm like,
oh my God.
and I loved it.
So, Alex, you have a son as
You have
well.
a son.
yeah.
And you guys,
He's I would say he's about 4 months older than my son.
Yes.
and I feel like talking to both of you. You guys, it seems like it's been chill.
Yeah. How would you like rate your overall experience as being a parent? In one word or less.
Thanks for joining us on this podcast. What's going on?
It's good. It's there's a lot of like highs and a lot of surprising highs, and some like, this is gonna be fun when it's over situations.
Yes, definitely.
I actually just came from a trip abroad with
I saw
with
that.
kid.
I wanted to
We
ask
went
you
to
about
Spain.
this.
Whoa.
Okay, talk to me about that.
What the best thing about it was other kids were there and they were much worse than he was. So comparatively, he was an angel.
Okay,
He likes
okay.
to stare whenever like other kids are like doing
Same
other
with my
shit.
son.
Like he just kind of like it's like his face like, I can do that, or like, am I not allowed to do that? And I just kind of like hold him. I'm like, you're not gonna do that.
Don't.
What
do
was
that.
it like traveling to Europe to Spain with him?
Honestly, pretty easy.
Okay.
It's I was afraid that his sleep schedule was gonna get all messy,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it didn't. He slept a good chunk on the plane, just like sprawled on both me and my partner. But then once we got there, it was like pretty easy. Now that we're back, his sleep schedule was a little messed
Okay.
up. Like when we first got here, he like went to bed, and then at 2 a.m. he woke up thinking it was the morning.
Of course.
And then it got pushed, and as of today, so a few days
Yeah.
of like coming back,
Yeah.
he finally went back to his sleep
Yeah.
schedule.
Because you and me are pretty on it about sleep schedules.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not every parent that I didn't realize that. Like I talk about my sleep schedule. It is just a part of our daily lives. And I didn't realize that not every parent does that.
I heard where like some parents did have a sleep schedule, but it backfired horribly on them.
Oh,
like one of my neighbors, I think that's what happened. They like they were very strict on their sleep schedule, but then it backfired where like that kid woke up earlier because of that sleep schedule, and then their morning started at 4 a.m. So
Let me tell
yeah.
you, sleep schedule is literally one of the biggest parts of parenting. It is truly, I think it's one of the biggest parts.
Yeah.
It determines your entire day. It's like an Excel spreadsheet.
Navigating
for sleep.
Another human being's sleep schedule. I'm like, I can barely.
Well, their
keep track
sleep
of
schedule, depending on what they do, that depends on your life,
Oh
your
my
whole
God.
life, not even sleeping, but how your day is going to go.
Yeah.
It's wild.
How was it for you when you came back to work here, like after being gone?
So I came back and then I left again.
Right.
So that was my whole thing, because I had the parental leave from Smosh, and then I came back, and then the state parental leave. I was
Yeah.
able to dip out again and then come back. It was strange because I came back and I left sort of like as a surprise to everyone, because my son came like a week early than expected, like a week or two, and then I kind of like, I was literally setting up meetings for the next day. Like, oh, I'm going to do this with this freelancer, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to have this meeting. And then 7 o'clock comes, and then my partner's water breaks, her water never broke actually, but like she was like, I think I'm ready, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
I have meetings.
We can't.
I have a plan.
Actually, very funny. We had tickets to go see Princess Mononoke that night, and now, and I'm like, are you sure? Because I don't.
Can I
Princess
meet you
we have an hour before the movie. I gotta make sure we gotta cancel these A-list tickets. And we did. We canceled the tickets, and then that night I texted my team, and I was like, "Hey guys, I'm not coming in tomorrow. I think I'm done." And then I came back, and it was pretty okay. It was leaving again, because then around that time was Smosh Summer Games. I left during the perfect times, I think. When it got hectic for the art department, I was like, ooh,
I gotta go.
and then just peaced out. But I think I like my team, and like my team was very supportive.
Oh yeah.
Here, so it was really easy to come back, and it's still like really easy. Not just my team, but like Smosh.
I felt the same exact way, because you kind of hear horror stories like back in the day of like, oh, especially for the female, it's like, don't tell them until it's really like late in the pregnancy or blah, 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 blah. Like they're going to cut your pay or whatever. And I genuinely felt so supported. Like it was like, anything you need.
Yeah.
In fact, they're like, you could be more of a diva. And I was just like, yeah, okay. But I miss my work, and then I miss so I found it to be tough. I think if I left again, it would be really hard.
I think so too. It's one of those situations where I'm like, I enjoyed my like work from home time before he was born, and then when I got back, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't know. I'm rambling, but yeah, it's I totally understand you. Yeah.
It's kind of a wild experience for the dad and the mom too. But what I really want to ask is, when are you going to show your son something scary?
When
maybe
do horror
you have
movies
the answer, and I just don't know.
I think I was like, when you guys were talking about it, I was like, I think it was 4 when I watched Child's Play. I watched Chucky when I was 4 because my mom decided to do that.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I also have like a vague memory of also watching Evil Dead at 4, which is great. That's also fun. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Were your parents watching it with you?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom had a kick of showing me like horror movies. Like she made me watch The Exorcist at 4 or 5, and it was just
bro.
She was like, haha, look at how funny this is, and I'm like,
that movie.
That's
so
the
scary.
devil. That's real.
But also growing up as a Catholic, I was like,
yeah, you're watching
what?
The Exorcist.
No,
that is the funniest thing, because my mom, my family's Catholic, or we were Catholic growing up, but my mom, when we were watching The Exorcist, I remember as a kid, she'd be like, and it's crazy, like, this could be real. I was like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I get it. I also grew up Catholic, and The Exorcist was like, my mom was very against my dad showing it to us, but my dad was
if you show it to them, they might get possessed.
My dad didn't go to church. He was like, man, who cares?
Your dad was
fine.
all into technology.
Yeah, he didn't care.
He's like, I don't believe
He was
in
like,
God.
science is what's happening. Science is scary.
Aliens are what are happening.
Yeah.
He showed you Alien.
Be afraid
He was like,
of
this
aliens.
is real.
He did.
There's an old clip. You've probably seen it. There's this old clip from the premiere of Alien when it was in theaters, and they're interviewing people as they leave, and they interview this guy, and he's there with his like 10-year-old son. They're like, oh, did you guys enjoy the movie? He's like, yeah. And he's like, and you think it's appropriate for your 10-year-old son? He's like, I do. Well, he needs to know that this could happen out there.
And the son's like,
about Alien. But hey, I don't know.
I love that.
It's so funny.
I've never seen that clip.
It's such a classic.
I need to see that.
It's this old school clip. It's from the 70s. This guy's got this big old mustache.
He needs to know what's coming.
Well, he needs to know that this could happen. It's like, what the
This episode of Smosh Mouth is sponsored by AG1. Summer is here, barbecue, family time, lots of travel, and of course, so many weddings.
Oh, summer's so busy. It's the time when you lose all the habits that you built up because you're busy running around. Speaking of, Have you been keeping up with your AG1 morning ritual?
Of course, keeping up. More like I'm crushing it, Shayne. It's super easy to keep up because they have travel packs, so there's never a problem when it comes to being on the go.
Remind me, do you do just one scoop?
Exactly, 1 scoop in 8 ounces of water. It's a daily health drink with a multivitamin, pre- and probiotics, superfoods, and antioxidants.
So not only are you taking care of your gut health, but you're also filling in those nutritional gaps.
Exactly. He gets it. Okay, I love the berry flavor. I take it every single morning on an empty stomach. I like mine in cold water. And also, you can get their frother, and it is so powerful. It mixes it in like 2 seconds, and it tastes amazing, and I honestly feel energized when I drink it. Visit drinkag1.com/smoshmouth to get a free morning person hat and free AG1 flavor sampler in your welcome kit with your first AG1 subscription. An $82 value. That's drinkag1.com/smoshmouth.
Back to the show.
Here we go.
For both of you, is there a movie that you are so excited to show, like to watch with your kid?
I have
Such a good question.
There's a book that came out like a few years ago that I was able to get for this. Like, it's like from A24. It's this entire book of like growing up watching movies with your kids.
Whoa.
And it starts like from age 2. These are the movies you should try to watch with your kid.
I want this book.
And literally the first page that opens up for year 2, for like when he's 2 years old, is Fantastic Mr. Fox. And I was like, oh.
That
I
is a
didn't think
great.
about that
That is
one.
a great movie.
It's like watching like movies and also like shorts. I think there's an entire like section for the Wallace and Gromit shorts.
Whoa.
Cool.
So I was like, oh, this wouldn't be a bad idea. So like
That's amazing.
I was thinking about that as
Fantastic Mr. Fox is just
Or
so
Totoro.
visually gorgeous.
yeah, or Totoro. I think my
Totoro.
partner and I are very much into Ghibli movies and
Oh yeah. Well, you are wearing
Yeah,
a Ponyo
yeah.
shirt.
Yeah.
and it's like Ponyo or Totoro would be like
Those are incredible.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Have you never seen Ponyo or Totoro?
No, I haven't.
You should watch them with
But
when Cole's the right age.
I would like to.
they're-
I think H has. I would like to watch that. I would like to watch like really beautiful, fantastical movies. Like
Well, there you
Fantastic
go.
Mr. Fox sounds amazing, but there's a movie.
Watership Down.
I mean,
Yeah.
I grew up with like older movies. Like I watched The Secret Garden, and that movie's really sad and dark.
I think Courtney showed me that movie, and I was like, oh my God.
It's really
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really dark.
Yeah.
But like Fern Gully is essentially Avatar but animated.
Oh, I don't know why. I just remembered a scary movie I watched when I was a kid. Small Soldiers.
Wait,
That's just Gremlins with toys.
Wait, I remember.
But Gremlins is also another movie that I watched too young, but
I didn't watch
fine.
Gremlins until recently. I was like,
remember.
damn, this is not for kids.
Small Soldiers.
Small
I
Soldiers
remember
is
it's
awesome.
so funny.
It's so funny, but it's kind of a relic of the past. Like it does not. Nobody talks about it anymore.
No.
But it's ridiculous.
Last-
Super young Kirsten Dunst.
the last person I talked to about that movie was actually Luke Baker. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I really do also want to show him Fantasia.
Oh, Fantasia's amazing.
You know what
Show
I
him
mean?
Fantasia.
Yeah.
that's a movie that I was considering showing him as his first Disney movie.
Yeah,
If I'm being honest.
because it's just visuals. It's just and it's symphonies.
And it's
and
orchestra
gorgeous.
and the music
Yeah,
is
like
so
that's
beautiful. Yeah, I might consider it.
We have a bunch of questions,
yeah.
right?
I have
should
the
we get
questions
into
right
these?
here.
Because we.
And H actually answered some of these. Okay. I think this is a really good question, and I'll read H's answer and then I want to hear yours. What's a super tiny life hack that makes a huge difference with a newborn? His answer is not really tiny, but we actually bought a second freezer.
Okay, that's.
It's not a tiny life hack, but this is what he put in here.
You have a second freezer.
We bought a second freezer. My mom asked, like, my parents asked what they could do to help, and H was like, we need a second freezer. And I was like, no, we don't. It was the greatest gift.
Really?
It was the best thing ever because we meal prepped for weeks out. We did so many like breakfast burritos, quiches, like breakfast sandwiches, and we put it in the freezer so that when I was on maternity leave for all the many hours, that's what we were eating.
Wow.
That was like the greatest thing. And for me, my greatest life hack, and I think a lot of people know this, is every corner in every room that you have, or in little corners, just put like a little area that has some toys in it.
Oh,
when they start crawling.
So that in every room you just have a little bit of something.
Just a little bit. And I remember my friend told me this, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. The toys are going to stay in one place. And then I started, like, we have a bookshelf, right? And I emptied out the bottom part, and I just put some blankets, some books, and like a little thing that has like fun little toys or whatever, and then a map. And I just did that in like little corners, and it's so great because it's like they can go to those little spots in the house.
That's amazing.
So that's my tiny life hack, but my husband wrote a very big life hack.
A second freezer.
But he's a food person.
No, I mean, you've talked about how he
He's
meal
a food
preps,
person,
and that's
man.
amazing.
Alex,
was there anything that you?
I think for our life hack, it depends on like the opportunities, but knowing other parents with babies who are like maybe a year older, getting all that, like getting diapers. I think that was our big thing where like my partner has a friend whose baby like just went through the diaper like ages pretty fast. Like by the time we were ready for our child, that baby was already at size 3 or 4. So we like her friend was just like, we have all these boxes of Huggies, so here you go. So we still have Huggies in our closet, like for size 4, ready to go. And it's like, all right. And that's our hack.
And
like,
you gave me diapers.
I did give you diapers. I forgot about that.
You gave me diapers is such a hack. Honestly, any parent or family that you know, just be in contact with them because they inevitably have. All of our stuff is secondhand. They inevitably have stuff for you.
Yeah.
And diapers is, I mean, you need them. You need 1,000 of them.
Yeah, because I think we go to Costco we've run out of the diapers that we have for that size. So we're like, we go to Costco and it's like $40 for a box. So we're like, all right, well.
It's amazing.
How many diapers does a baby go through in like a week?
Depends on the age.
Yeah.
When they are newborns, 10.
10 diapers a week?
So 10 diapers a day.
Yeah.
10 diapers a day.
Yeah.
So 70 a week.
Yeah, because we did the math also while we were in Spain. We're like, how many diapers is he going through right now a day? And it's like 7. And that's including the night diaper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's like now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I knew it was a lot. I was like, I know it's going to be a ton. It's just like
and if
crazy.
They're
growing, and how many are in like a big package that you buy?
50-something?
50-something.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not even covering a week.
Yeah. So we buy like, whenever Costco has those deals, like buy 2 or like this one has like $10 off. Like we look at the limit of like, you can only buy 3 per person. I'm like, all right, going to go in this one time, get them, go out and then come right back in to buy another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's a Costco trip.
Yeah. That's also a life hack. It literally is just like get whatever you can from people that you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, what's something that you experienced that you weren't prepared for at all?
So
that he would talk immediately.
he spoke to me in like a different
Alex.
language.
Hey, hello, Alex.
Hello, Alex.
When he was little, I think the sheer fear of like, I'm gonna this up. Like whenever he would like nestle up to me, like to like under my chin, I'd be like, oh, that's cute. And then the fear in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna press the soft spot. I'm gonna press the soft spot, and it's just like finding out about these little things that are like that are a little like dangerous because he's like fragile, and I'm like, I can't be trusted with this guy.
I relate to that so much. I call them intrusive thoughts. The intrusive thoughts. I had some really weird ones. I had weird ones about dogs. I had nightmares about random dogs that I don't even know that would like eat him. I just had that thought.
Okay.
Like I like had these thoughts of like, I love you so much. And then my brain would automatically think of like the worst thing that could happen to him.
It was the same thing with my cats where I was like, I love my cats to death.
Yeah.
But then I would look at my cats, be very wary of him. And I'm like, oh no, this is the intrusive thought was like, they're gonna like try to slice him up with like the paws.
Yep.
But now like a year later, I'm like, oh no, Luke is gonna pull the
intrusive thoughts start to like. Yeah. But I agree. I was not prepared for how intense they were. H wrote. I was not prepared at all for how good the sleep quality was, considering everyone else's experience. My husband's up having a blast. Let me tell you, he's having a great time.
You said your husband's basically making it sound like he's sleeping better since having a kid?
He's sleeping great. I think because he's going to bed just like, ah.
Oh, like he's so exhausted.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And he thought, like we hear from everyone, like you're never going to sleep. And in the beginning, it is kind of like that. You don't it's crazy what you can get done with no sleep. But then you do actually start, if you do the sleep schedule, you do actually start to sleep.
So for us, we like had an alarm because like we had to feed him.
Yes.
Same. The beginning, we had to feed him like every 2 or 3 hours.
Same.
So we had an alarm ready, and we'd be the ones waking up before he did.
Yep.
So
same.
Like it was our schedule that was like, it was because of us that we were.
And did your like parents disagree with it? Did they say anything about it?
They didn't disagree with it. They're like, I think their biggest disagreement was like, why is he sleeping in the same bedroom as you guys? And maybe that's why you guys aren't sleeping. And I was like, well,
that's a whole thing.
Yeah, like that's
people do what works for them. It's systems. A whole thing.
Yeah, man.
No, but we slept well. We still sleep well. Like that's
Same.
one of those things where like everyone tells you like you're never gonna sleep. I literally had a talk with a freelancer today and like, how's your sleep schedule? Did you sleep at all? I'm like,
yeah.
I'm still sleeping fine.
Yeah. So am I. I think that's why he
wonder
wrote
though
that.
too, some people, because I know we've had this convo on a show before of like some people when they wake up in the middle of the night, they cannot go back to sleep. So if you're someone who can wake up and go back to sleep easily, maybe it's easier. But
not me.
You're someone who when you wake up, you're up.
Yeah. That was the hardest thing.
I'm up for a bit too. Like
we had the same thing was we had an alarm because your pediatrician is like, you have to wake up to make sure they're gaining enough weight or whatever. And my mom really struggled with that when she helped. She was like, why would you ever wake up a sleeping baby?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like old way, new way. But
wow,
I found it really hard. The lack of sleep. I really struggled with it.
Yeah.
These answers are wild. In what ways do you see yourself in your son already?
That was one of Selina's questions.
This question is so great.
I was throwing out like,
what
hey,
my husband wrote is very funny.
I haven't thought of that actually. I guess little actions that he does that he just kind of like plays with fire. I guess not like actual fire, but just there's things. There's like things he does. I'm like that I feel like I would do, like just getting close to the edge. Like he will look at me and then try to grab my hair, and then I'm like, don't do it, and then he'll like look at me for a split second and be like,
yeah,
do it again. And then same thing with the cats. Like I will like hold his hand and like, all right, don't grab too hard. He'll start laughing as he's petting him, and then he'll do this, and I'm like, nope, you can't be doing that. And then he gets upset, so I let him go, and he does it slowly. And I'm like, that's good. And I'm like, okay. The thing is, I would do something like that too. Where I'm like, but what if,
You're just kind of like, what happens?
Yeah,
right?
You're just curious.
I want cause and effect. That's what I want.
Yeah, I think that is true. Like
That's
when
a
you're
real
a kid,
thing.
yeah, you want to see things happen.
H wrote, when the bass hits, the body grooves. So I can explain that. H loves like techno dance house music.
Yeah.
So he plays it a lot, and it's the funniest thing is Cole will be eating and then he plays it and he'll be like,
That's awesome.
or he'll be like holding onto something, eating something, and he'll be like, and it's so real. He'll literally move his body.
Isn't it fascinating that like I need to ask, like, I need to look this up of like what is in our brains that makes us do this? Because it's like you see babies dance and I'm like, there's something that happens to us.
I know. It's the wildest thing.
I've been wanting to do that, but like I can't see my child like dance as much. I play, so we have a lot of vinyl records at my place, and then I just play music. I try to play as much music as I can. And he just kind of like accepts it as like extra sound, and like I just hold him next to the record player. I'm like, okay, you have to hear everything, and he just gets so fascinated with like the record spin.
Oh, the visual of
Every
it.
baby is different. It's so funny.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah, wow. Cole is gonna be in warehouses until 6 a.m.
Hey, probably. Do we want to do one more question?
Yeah.
One more?
Let's do one more question. Oh, what are you so excited to teach your son?
Ooh, karate.
Taekwondo.
Fight me. You're ready.
Pick up
How
the
to make
sword.
a pipe bomb.
I'm 3. Oh, yeah, you would.
I've read the Anarchist Cookbook. Sure. No, I think what I'm trying to do right now actually is teach him another language, which is it's a lot.
Let me tell you, same.
3 languages. We're trying to do that.
That's
Whoa.
Wait,
My
okay.
my
what is it,
partner's
French,
and I'm it's Spanish. Yeah.
French, Spanish,
and English. Yeah.
How is that going? Because you're only doing Spanish.
I'm trying
Your
so hard, and
partner-
I like lose it.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard because we're doing Russian, but H is not really doing Russian with him because he's speaking English with him. But then my mother-in-law is.
Yeah, I try and I catch myself speaking in English, and I just repeat the same sentence in Spanish, and I just forget because I'm so ingrained in speaking in English. And I think my big issue is that I would speak Spanish with my family, and since they're not around, I'm like,
Why am I speaking it?
exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm trying real hard to do that so he can understand Spanish. And then same thing for my partner. She speaks French, and she's much better at it than like trying to teach him that.
It's hard.
So that's like the big thing I'm trying to teach
Have you
him.
noticed him say anything that you're like,
Agua, water.
oh,
Yeah. And like when we offer him water, he's like agua, and then he will drink a little bit of water and then just like throw it at you. But he will
so the
drink.
Spanish is winning.
Yeah. But then my partner says like, I think something along the lines of going to sleep, but as like more childish is like something like dodo, and then he likes saying that as he's like, we're getting ready for bed, dodo, and then it's like,
Okay,
it
so it's
depends.
happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because for us, like, we're like, oh, it's not happening. But then the other day we were like, no way. He keeps saying dada, right? For dada. But then sometimes he'll go, da. And we're like, you mean like duh? Like yes?
He's
And
like,
then he'll go, da.
da, vodka,
Da.
da,
Vodka, come.
vodka.
Come, sit next to me.
Sit next to
Vodka.
me. Little
but
dance.
He'll randomly say like da. And I'm like,
You're like, you're speaking English, but you just have a Russian accent.
you know,
So I don't know what's happening.
come, vodka,
He's like,
dance.
come on, vodka. It's okay.
And I'm like, oh God, are we those parents that are like, he said da, but he's saying da? I don't know, guys.
At some point, my partner and I were talking about like, oh, he's saying mama and dada, and it's like, but those are sounds. Like he doesn't understand what those phrases mean. When he said no, we're like, oh, it's just a sound. But he would do no and then just shake his head, and I'm like, he knows what it is. He knows what no is.
You can tell the difference.
Yeah.
I think with mama, I think he knows.
He knows. He for sure knows.
I need to sleep tonight, so he knows mama. He knows.
It's fascinating
Da.
stuff, man.
But yeah,
You guys are doing great.
I hope so.
thanks,
I think
Shayne.
you guys are doing great.
It's really, really, really fun. It works for us,
I'm glad.
Alex and I.
Yeah.
For you two.
But yeah, it's Parents Week, and
We got
we
these
didn't
pins. We didn't mention we have pins.
but we're wearing pins,
I got
which
I
you
got
know,
mahjong.
in the future you'll be able to figure out what to do with these.
I think these will be available at Smosh.com.
Yeah, mine says "Cool Parents Watch Smosh."
So if you want some cool, get these as a gift for your parents.
They're really cool.
I don't understand mine.
Yeah.
Mine just
They're
yours is mahjong.
Okay, so we will be playing mahjong on Smosh Games channel this week.
That makes sense.
Some moms might be playing
Yes.
mahjong.
Yes.
I'm not going to say whose moms, but
Yes.
some moms might be playing each other with their children on their teams.
I love that.
And then also, I know we threw this out last week, but send us your hometown drama. Go to the Smosh subreddit. Send
Yeah.
it there. You probably could send it in our community posts and everything as well.
We want to read your
Wherever you
hometown
want.
drama.
Let us know your hometown drama. We're going to do a whole episode where we cover
Can
it.
I do that?
Yes.
There's so
Yeah.
many dead people in my hometown from when I
Okay.
was in high
Okay.
school.
There's only been a couple
Drama.
people who've been like, here at the office who's like, oh, I'll send in hometown drama. Are murders okay? And I'm like, oh, well, let's
Oh,
get
we also have a murder that happened in my hometown too.
Okay, well, let's get
You know, I
some-
think that's what dramas are about.
in America, yeah.
And let me tell you, parents love to watch messed up stuff. That's how we get through the night.
That is very
Exorcist.
true. Like The Exorcist at
Yeah,
5
let
years
us
old.
know what you want us to show our child.
Let us know what the first horror movie you watched was. How old were you
Yes.
when you watched your first horror movie, and what was it? And also, if you're a parent, what's the first horror movie you showed your kid or are going to show your kid?
Or not.
Or not. Anyways, Alex, thank you for joining us.
Happy to do so.
Thank you, Alex.
And thank you for watching, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.